This is the Huawei P10 Plus, and while the regular Huawei P10 boasts a 5.1-inch HD display, the P10 Plus bumps it up to 5.5 inches and 2K territory. Simply by giving the phone a larger screen, Huawei's created a market for this device. But is that all there is to the P10 Plus, or are there other good reasons to consider this model over its smaller sibling? I'm Stephen Shake with PhoneArena, answering those questions right now as part of my Huawei P10 Plus review. Huawei introduced the P10 and P10 Plus a few months back at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, running the company's latest Kirin 960 processors and featuring a sleek, thin design available in a multitude of colors and finishes. The phones seem to represent an attractive, if incremental, upgrade over last year's P9 models. The look of the P10 Plus follows nearly every single cue offered by the smaller P10, from a smoothly curving cross-section to the phone's power button with its knurled texture and the tiniest hint of a color accent circling it. Above that power button on the phone's right side, we find the P10 Plus's volume rocker, and continuing our way around to the top edge, we spot its infrared emitter. Not the most popular smartphone feature these days, but one that can really prove handy from time to time. All we see on the left is the phone's SIM tray, ready to accept either dual SIM cards or the combination of one SIM and a micro SD card for storage expansion. And down below on the bottom edge lives the analog headphone jack, USB Type-C port, and the smartphone's main speaker. On the front, Huawei fits the P10 Plus's fingerprint scanner beneath the phone's 5.5-inch screen, and up top alongside the earpiece is the 8-megapixel selfie cam. Around back, the P10 Plus features a return of Huawei's Leica-branded dual camera system, sitting impressively flush behind a pane of smooth glass, not unlike a Pixel phone. The metal back panel is available in a variety of 7 color options, and in addition to the smoothly finished surface most of those offer, a few, like the gold you see here, come as a finely textured array of tiny etched arcs. The texture looks and feels really great, but it's also a bit vulnerable to picking up and highlighting dirt and grime. The P10 Plus has a 5.5-inch LCD panel with a 1440 by 2560 resolution. While that's a good start, the display on this phone suffers from some of the same flaws we've been complaining about with the P series for a while now, namely oversaturated, somewhat fake-looking colors. Colorful is good, don't get us wrong, but accurately reproduced colors would be even better. We also don't love Huawei's factory-installed screen protector. It doesn't feel very nice, with some sharp edges at the screen's boundaries, and doesn't really seem like OEM quality. And while we haven't peeled ours off, we're told that if you do, the glass underneath lacks an oil-resistant coating, making it a virtual smudge magnet. Then again, the protector's lousy at repelling smudges itself. Huawei's Emui Interface is one of the more interesting Android implementations around, with some fun customization options waiting to be discovered. But while we appreciate the way the phone's default look is color coordinated to match its exterior, in this case with a bunch of golden icons, that monochromatic design is pretty much just asking us to replace it. As we've come to expect from Huawei phones, the fingerprint scanner on the P10 Plus is speedy and accurate, and here can be used to pull double duty as a navigation key. Tap for back, hold for home, and swipe for multitasking. Those gestures took a few days to really sink in, but ultimately offer a nicely conceived alternate means to navigating your way around the phone. Performance is speedy thanks to the Kirin 960 CPU, but keep in mind that this chip is more on the level of the Snapdragon 821 than the newer Snapdragon 835 you'll be finding in a growing number of 2017 flagships. The P10 Plus is no slouch, don't get us wrong, but you will find faster phones out there. Huawei offers the P10 Plus in configurations ranging from 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage, all the way up to 6 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. And honestly, anywhere on either end of that spectrum is going to leave the phone very well equipped. While we were briefly concerned after Huawei got caught using a mix of faster and slower RAM and flash chips on the P10 series of phones, our P10 Plus turns out to be one of the speedier ones. That's nice for us, but we still wish shoppers could feel a little more assured of what they're getting as they go in to purchase the handset. Audio output's pretty darn nice, pairing the bottom main speaker with the front-facing earpiece for a nice stereo effect. As we've noted in so many of these arrangements, that's still not quite in the same league as having 2 front-facers, but it's one compromise that sounds alright to our ears. Compared to the regular P10, the P10 Plus has a 17% larger 3750 mAh battery. But with a larger, higher-res screen, those battery gains are essentially cancelled out, and we tested the P10 Plus delivering a little over 8 hours of screen on time, just 25 minutes longer than the P10. Recharging's nice and fast, with the battery refilling in under 2 hours. Last but certainly not least, there's the phone's dual camera, and just like on the P10, that means a 20-megapixel monochrome camera for brightness data alongside a 12-megapixel color sensor. Feature-wise, we get the same package we did with the P10, though the P10 Plus does have the distinction of using a slightly larger f1.8 aperture, helping to let in additional light. As a result, most of our opinions on the P10's camera follow over to the P10 Plus. It's by and large well done, offering a nice assortment of shooting modes and capturing some exquisitely detailed shots. But perhaps due to that change in aperture, some pics looked a little more exposed than we'd like. Video recording was similarly satisfying, though we did run into a few issues with software not behaving exactly as we'd like all the time, and occasionally had problems getting the camera to refocus on very close-up subjects while filming. The P10 Plus does a lot right. While there are plenty of little issues we could pick at here and there, overall it's a well-executed, satisfying phone. Its problems though are twofold. For one, there's no obvious hook or compelling reason to choose the P10 Plus over a lot of its competition, and that's even including the largely successful dual camera. And secondly, with the arrival of phones like the HTC U11, you can get what adds up to more smartphone for the same amount of money. The P10 Plus is a fine phone, but with its flagship level pricing, you don't have to look far to find fancier, more polished alternatives. I'm Stephen Shank with PhoneArena. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more reviews coming your way soon.